Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here as we explore a fascinating topic. Today, we'll be diving into the Masonic Audiobook Library, and specifically, we'll be focusing on the symbolism of King Solomon's Temple. This temple is truly at the heart of Masonic symbolism, representing much more than just a historical structure. Over the next few slides, we'll uncover its deeper meanings, its significance in Masonic tradition, and how it continues to inspire. So let's get started and discover the rich symbolism behind this legendary temple. Now, let's take a closer look at the introduction to King Solomon's Temple. As one of the most iconic and historically significant structures, it represents more than just a place of worship. It embodies the spiritual and architectural ideals of ancient Israel. When we explore this topic, we're delving into a symbol of divine presence, cultural identity, and religious devotion that has inspired countless generations. Throughout this presentation, we'll examine its architectural features, the symbolism woven into its design, and its enduring influence. Understanding Solomon's Temple helps us appreciate the profound connection between faith, artistry, and history that continues to resonate today. Now, let's turn our attention to King Solomon's Temple, a truly monumental structure in biblical history. This temple wasn't just a place of worship. It was a symbol of divine presence and national identity for ancient Israel. Built in the mid-10th century BCE, it represented the fulfillment of God's promise to establish a permanent dwelling among his people. The temple's design was intricate and meaningful, combining practical architecture with deep spiritual symbolism. It served as the central location for sacrifices, religious festivals, and community gatherings. Importantly, the temple also reflected the glory and sovereignty of King Solomon himself, showcasing his dedication to God and his role as a wise leader. As we explore its significance, keep in mind how this sacred space connects to broader themes of faith, divine promise, and the pursuit of spiritual excellence that run throughout our entire presentation. Let's explore the historical background of King Solomon, a central figure in this story. Solomon, the son of King David, is renowned not only for his wisdom, but also for his wealth and impressive architectural achievements. One of his most famous projects was the construction of the Temple in Jerusalem, which served as a sacred space for worship and a powerful symbol of divine presence. During his reign, Israel experienced a period of prosperity and stability, and Solomon's leadership helped establish a lasting legacy. The temple itself was more than just a religious building. It embodied spiritual truths and reflected Solomon's wealth and power. Because of its significance, it became a key element in Masonic symbolism and tradition, representing ideals of divine connection and human aspiration. Moving to the construction details, the temple was built in the 10th century BCE and stands as a symbol of divine presence and humans striving for the sacred. It was funded by King Solomon himself and designed by the master craftsman Hiram Abiff, who brought advanced architectural techniques of that era. The materials used, cedar wood and gold, weren't just luxury items, they signified purity and divinity. The layout of the temple also mirrors cosmic order, creating a bridge between earthly and heavenly realms. This careful design reflects core Masonic values like wisdom, strength, and beauty. The entire structure aimed to foster spiritual enlightenment and unite the community through shared sacred space. Finally, the temple's cultural significance extended beyond religion. It was the heart of Israelite culture, showcasing their architectural grandeur and religious beliefs. It reinforced Jewish identity, served as a cultural hub, and influenced social cohesion through rituals that emphasized community values. In essence, the temple represented the zenith of Israelite civilization, a lasting symbol of faith, national pride, and divine connection. Let's take a closer look at the overview of Masonic symbols. First, when we talk about Masonic symbols, we're referring to visual representations that carry deep moral and philosophical lessons. These symbols serve as guiding tools, helping members pursue personal growth and enlightenment. A central symbol in Masonic tradition is King Solomon's Temple. This temple isn't just a physical structure, it's a profound symbol embodying wisdom, strength, and beauty. It reflects the ongoing quest for knowledge and understanding, going beyond just the material to touch on spiritual ideals. The architecture and significance of the temple illustrate how material and spiritual values blend harmoniously, reinforcing the ethical principles that Freemasonry upholds. Now, why is this symbol so important in Masonic traditions? Well, the temple represents more than just a building. It embodies the pursuit of moral integrity and personal development. Its layout and intricate details are interpreted as metaphors for our own journey towards spiritual enlightenment. Plus, the story of its construction highlights the importance of fraternity and collaboration, core principles that unite Masons in their shared quest for self-improvement and service to others. Connecting this to ancient practices, King Solomon's Temple also draws on historical traditions of building, sacrifice, and divine architecture. Its blueprints metaphorically mirror the universe's spiritual order and our search for knowledge. The craftsmanship involved echoes the skills and moral integrity valued by Masons, reflecting a deep link to ancient guilds and rites. This intersection of spirituality and architecture underscores a continuous link with our historical roots, fostering a richer understanding of what Masonic beliefs stand for. So, in essence, these symbols, especially King Solomon's Temple, serve as powerful reminders of our journey toward wisdom, strength, and beauty, both as individuals and as a community. They connect us to a long tradition of spiritual and moral development, emphasizing that our path is both personal and collective. Now, let's take a closer look at the architectural features of the temple. When we examine its design, we notice that it incorporates several key elements that are both functional and symbolic. The structure often features towering columns and intricate carvings, which not only support the building, but also tell stories and convey important religious themes. One of the most striking aspects is the layout, typically consisting of a sanctum or inner chamber where the deity resides, surrounded by a series of corridors and halls designed to accommodate worshippers and rituals. The use of specific materials, like stone or marble, was chosen not just for durability, but also for their symbolic significance, representing strength and purity. Furthermore, the decorative elements, such as elaborate sculptures and motifs, are carefully crafted to reflect the cultural and spiritual beliefs of the time. These features serve to create a sacred space that elevates the spiritual experience for worshippers and visitors alike. Connecting this to our overall theme, the architecture of the temple isn't just about aesthetics. It's a physical manifestation of the divine and the cultural identity of the community that built it. Each feature works together to elevate the spiritual atmosphere and reinforce the temple's purpose as a sacred, revered space. Now, let's explore the layout and design of King Solomon's Temple, starting with the Holy of Holies. This innermost sanctum is truly the heart of the temple, symbolizing divine presence and purity. It measures 20 cubits by 20 cubits, which highlights the idea of perfection and completeness, an important theme in sacred architecture. Inside this sacred space rested the Ark of the Covenant, a powerful symbol of God's covenant with his people. Access to the Holy of Holies was strictly limited to the high priest, emphasizing the sacredness and the concept of divine mediation. Architecturally, this space illustrates the deep connection between the physical and spiritual realms, serving as a bridge that links humanity to the divine. Moving outward, we come to the outer courtyard. This area represents the realm of the physical and material world, functioning as a transitional space between the everyday and the sacred. Its wide and open layout reflects accessibility and inclusivity, inviting all to approach the holiness of the temple. Here, elements like the brazen altar stand out, symbolizing purification and sacrifice, crucial rites for spiritual elevation. The courtyard isn't just for worship. It embodies the journey toward deeper understanding, especially within Masonic teachings, as a symbolic step toward enlightenment. Finally, the overall layout and design of the temple are rich with symbolic geometry. The proportions, such as the golden ratio, are carefully chosen to reflect divine order and cosmic harmony. The central axis runs through the structure, representing the vital connection between the earthly and the divine, guiding our spiritual journey. Circular and square motifs are also integrated, symbolizing unity and stability, reinforcing the temple's role as a sacred space. Every geometric element reinforces the overarching theme of divine perfection, mirroring the Masonic pursuit of enlightenment and knowledge. Together, these design principles remind us that the temple is not only a physical building, but a reflection of divine harmony and spiritual aspiration. Let's take a closer look at the construction materials used in King Solomon's temple, starting with stone and cedar. These materials were chosen not just for their practical qualities, but also for what they symbolized. The stone, quarried locally and carefully hewn, represented permanence and strength, almost like a divine foundation of faith that endures through time. On the other hand, cedar wood, sourced from Lebanon, brought a sense of luxury and resilience. It signified the temple's elevated status and its majestic quality. Together, these materials reflect a harmony between earthly craftsmanship and heavenly ideals, embodying the divine wisdom and the Masonic values of strength and beauty in design. Now, moving to the significance of these materials, cedar, stone, and gold each carried their own symbolic meanings. Cedar, especially, was a symbol of durability and the majestic nature of the temple, reinforcing its spiritual importance. The stone grounded the structure in permanence and stability, giving it a solid, enduring presence. Gold, used extensively for adornment, represented purity, wealth, and the divine presence. When combined, these materials tell a story of harmony between spiritual significance and earthly resilience, highlighting how the temple served as a sacred space bridging heaven and earth, which is a key idea in Masonic teachings. Finally, let's consider the craftsmanship and symbolism involved. The artisans who built Solomon's temple weren't just skilled craftsmen, they were also interpreters of deeper spiritual truths. The use of fine materials like cedar and gold wasn't accidental. These choices signified divinity and eternity. Their meticulous work aimed not only for beauty, but also to create a sacred space that transcended mere architecture. Every detail reflected the unity of man and divine, embodying the Masonic belief that physical creations can symbolize higher truths. In this way, the temple becomes a powerful symbol of enlightenment and moral integrity, reminding us that craftsmanship can serve as a vessel for spiritual and moral ideals. Now, let's explore the symbolism of sacred spaces. Sacred spaces are more than just physical locations. They hold deep spiritual and cultural significance. These places often serve as a focal point for community identity and religious practice. For example, temples, churches, mosques, and shrines are designed to embody certain spiritual ideals and connect us to the divine. They often feature specific symbols, architecture, and rituals that convey meaning beyond their physical form. These symbols can represent divine presence, spiritual truths, or cultural heritage. The layout and design often reflect cosmological views or religious stories, helping practitioners feel a sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Importantly, sacred spaces symbolize a sense of continuity and tradition, linking past, present, and future generations. They serve as anchors for faith and community, providing a space where spiritual experiences and cultural identity intersect. In the context of our overall theme, understanding the symbolism of these spaces helps us see how physical environments shape and reinforce spiritual beliefs and cultural values. They are not just places we visit, they're powerful symbols that carry profound meaning and foster a sense of belonging. Now, let's explore the concept of the temple as a sacred space and what it truly represents. At its core, the temple is more than just a building. It's a powerful symbol of our connection to the divine. Think of it as an earthly reflection of the celestial realm, a place where heaven and earth come into harmony. Its architecture and layout are carefully crafted to facilitate communication between us and the divine presence, guiding our focus inward and upward. One of the most sacred parts of the temple is the Holy of Holies. This innermost sanctum represents the ultimate spiritual connection, where God's presence is believed to dwell. It's not just about divine authority, it also invites us to look inward, to reflect, and to seek spiritual growth. In Masonic teachings, this space emphasizes the importance of forging a deeper, more meaningful relationship with the divine. Moving on to its role in religious worship, King Solomon's temple was central to spiritual life. It was a physical manifestation of faith, a place where rituals and sacrifices were performed to honor God. The design of the temple wasn't accidental. It aimed to enhance spiritual experiences, foster a sense of community, and deepen devotion among worshippers. The symbolism embedded in its structure goes beyond bricks and mortar. It's about purity, order, and the divine presence. These qualities help us understand why sacred spaces are vital. They serve as bridges to a higher realm, helping us connect more deeply with the divine. Finally, the temple also reflects the universe's structure. Its three main sections, the outer court, the holy place, and the Holy of Holies, symbolize the physical, spiritual, and transcendental realms. This layout mirrors the harmony between humanity and the cosmos, illustrating how earthly existence aligns with divine principles. The celestial imagery within the architecture acts as a microcosm of the universe itself, reminding us of the unity of creation and our ongoing quest for spiritual enlightenment. In essence, the temple isn't just a building. It's a symbol of our spiritual journey, a sacred space that connects us to the divine and reflects the harmony of the universe itself. Let's explore the Masonic interpretation of sacred spaces, starting with the structure of Masonic lodges themselves. These lodges are intentionally designed to reflect the symbolism of King Solomon's temple, serving as sacred spaces that go beyond mere physical locations. Their architecture often mirrors the temple's design, symbolizing the journey of personal and spiritual growth. Central features like the altar, as well as the square and compass, carry deep meaning, representing moral guidance and the continual pursuit of truth. Think of the lodge as a communal workshop where initiates gather, fostering bonds that reinforce the idea that sacred spaces are not just physical but spiritual realms that connect us to the divine and inspire ethical living, much like the ancient significance of Solomon's temple. Now, moving on to rituals performed within these sacred spaces. In the context of King Solomon's temple, rituals are more than ceremonial acts. They symbolize spiritual transformation and enlightenment. The layout of the temple, with areas like the Holy of Holies, represents different levels of consciousness and the journey toward divine understanding. When Masons conduct rituals within these spaces, they evoke a strong sense of fraternity and shared purpose. These rituals reinforce our moral and ethical development while connecting us to a profound spiritual heritage. Essentially, they embody the ongoing quest for personal and collective enlightenment, highlighting how sacred symbolism guides us through our spiritual journey. Finally, let's consider the spiritual significance of King Solomon's temple itself. It stands as a powerful symbol of spiritual enlightenment and the pursuit of divine knowledge within Masonic tradition. Architectural elements like the pillars and sacred altars serve as metaphors for the connection between the earthly and the divine. The temple encourages us to embark on a path of self-discovery and moral growth, seeking inner truth and wisdom. Ultimately, it reflects a harmonious balance between spirituality and community, illustrating how sacred spaces can foster personal development and deepen our understanding of the universe. In essence, the temple is a blueprint for inner transformation, guiding us toward higher levels of consciousness and greater harmony in our lives. Now, let's turn our attention to the Ark of the Covenant, a symbol that carries immense historical and spiritual significance. This sacred object was believed to hold the presence of God among the Israelites, making it central to their worship and identity. The Ark was not just a container. It represented God's covenant with his people and his divine presence guiding them through their journey. Its design was elaborate, crafted with precious materials and intricate details, emphasizing its sacred nature. Throughout history, the Ark has inspired countless stories, debates, and even quests, symbolizing divine power and faith. Connecting this to our broader theme, the Ark reminds us how physical symbols can embody deeper spiritual truths and serve as focal points for faith and community. It's a powerful example of how tangible objects can symbolize divine promises and inspire devotion across generations. On this slide, we see the profound significance of the Ark of the Covenant within the context of the temple. The Ark, housed in the Holy of Holies in Solomon's temple, is much more than a sacred chest. It symbolizes the divine presence of God among his people, serving as a tangible reminder of his commitment and guidance. Inside the ark were the tablets of the law, which represent God's covenant with his people, a promise of relationship, guidance, and moral direction. The temple itself was considered a sacred space where God's glory dwelled, emphasizing purity and reverence. The presence of the ark reinforced this idea, highlighting the divine-human connection that lies at the heart of the sacred experience. In Masonic belief, this connection is central. The ark embodies the sacred contract of loyalty and faithfulness, urging us to live with integrity and moral principles. Its central position in the Holy of Holies made it a spiritual anchor, guiding followers toward a deeper understanding of their relationship with the divine. Moving on, the ark also served as a powerful symbol of the covenant between God and his people. It was a physical manifestation of divine promises fulfilled, an unmistakable sign that God was with his people, guiding and protecting them. For Masons, this symbolizes the importance of fidelity and trust in our spiritual journey, emphasizing that our adherence to moral principles aligns us closer to divine wisdom. Lastly, the ark played a vital role in the rituals of Solomon's temple. It was central to key ceremonies, like the annual Day of Atonement, when the high priest would sprinkle blood over the ark. This act symbolized reconciliation and atonement, restoring harmony between God and his people. The ark also was pivotal in the consecration of the temple, marking it as a sacred space dedicated to divine worship. All of these elements reflect the core Masonic pursuit, seeking divine connection, understanding, and wisdom through sacred symbols like the ark. It's a reminder that our spiritual journey involves reverence, fidelity, and a continual striving to align ourselves more closely with the divine. Now, let's explore the Masonic symbolism of the Ark of the Covenant. At its core, the Ark represents sacred knowledge, divine wisdom, and the power of truth. It's more than just a relic. It embodies the sacred link between humanity and the divine, highlighting the importance of spiritual enlightenment. In our tradition, the Ark inspires us to seek understanding through study and to uncover hidden truths that foster both personal growth and strengthen our communities. Notice how much reverence is shown toward the ark. It reflects how deeply we value knowledge as a guiding principle in our moral and ethical development. Moving on, the ark also symbolizes the journey of the soul toward divine enlightenment. Think of it as the inner sanctum of the temple, where truth and wisdom are sought. Our spiritual path mirrors the journey of the ark, navigating through trials and challenges to reach a higher state of awareness. Ultimately, the ark serves as a metaphor for our quest for unity with the divine, emphasizing core values like faith, perseverance, and the search for meaning, values that are central to Masonic philosophy. Finally, the ark's significance extends into our rituals. It represents divine presence and guidance, often symbolized by its placement at the altar in the lodge. This positioning reminds us of the importance of faith, obedience, and the pursuit of knowledge. As Masons, we draw parallels between the sacredness of the ark and our own moral journeys. The rituals involving the ark serve as powerful reminders of our commitment to truth and justice, echoing the covenant between the divine and humanity. Through these rituals, we deepen our understanding of fraternity and recognize the sacred nature of our work. Now, let's take a closer look at the pillars of the temple. These pillars represent the foundational elements that support the entire structure of our project. Each pillar is crucial because it upholds different aspects of our strategy and vision. When we think about these pillars, we're really talking about core principles or key areas that need to be strong for the whole system to succeed. The first pillar might focus on innovation, emphasizing the importance of staying ahead of trends and continuously improving. The second could be customer focus, reminding us that understanding and meeting client needs is central to our success. The third pillar might be operational excellence, which ensures that our processes are efficient and reliable. Connecting these to the overall theme, you'll see that just like a temple depends on sturdy pillars to stand tall and last through time, our organization relies on these key elements to build a sustainable and impactful future. Each pillar complements the others, creating a balanced and resilient foundation. So, understanding and strengthening these pillars is essential as we move forward in our journey. Now, let's explore the significance of the Jachin and Bose pillars. These twin pillars are more than just architectural features. They symbolize stability and strength within the Masonic tradition. Jachin, which means he establishes, represents divine wisdom and support. Think of it as the spiritual foundation that guides us. Bose, meaning in him is strength, embodies the power and resilience that come from faith and moral conviction. Together, they reflect a vital balance, balancing spiritual insight with physical strength. This balance is crucial, not only in building a sturdy structure like Solomon's temple, but also in our personal lives. Their placement at the entrance of the temple serves as a reminder that we need both moral and ethical grounding as we seek knowledge and enlightenment. In essence, these pillars teach us about the importance of establishing a firm foundation, both outwardly in architecture and inwardly in character. They remind us that stability and strength come from a harmonious blend of spiritual wisdom and resilience, which are central themes in our journey toward understanding and growth. On this slide, we're exploring the interpretation of the pillars of Solomon's temple within Masonic tradition. These pillars, Jachin and Bose, serve as powerful symbolic guides representing core virtues of strength and wisdom. The two central pillars embody duality. Jachin symbolizes firmness, the active force, while Bose stands for stability, the passive force. Together, they remind us of the importance of balance in life, finding harmony between action and restraint, strength and stability. These pillars also mark the passage from everyday existence into a deeper spiritual enlightenment, guiding Masons on their personal and collective journeys toward truth. Now, focusing on their names and meanings, Jachin translates to he establishes, emphasizing strength and the active principle, taking initiative, creating, establishing. Bose, meaning in him is strength, signifies stability and resilience, representing the passive, enduring qualities. This pairing highlights the essential harmony between these opposing forces, masculine and feminine energies, action and patience, that are vital for growth and enlightenment. In Masonic symbolism, these pillars are more than just architectural features. They embody the foundational virtues needed for both personal development and communal progress. In lodges, they are often represented by physical columns, serving as constant visual reminders of the importance of balance, duality, and the pursuit of knowledge. Through these symbols, Masons are encouraged to reflect on their own journey, striving for moral strength, wisdom, and stability, as they seek to uncover deeper truths within themselves and the universe. Now, let's take a closer look at the role of the High Priest. The High Priest was a central figure in the religious life of the community, serving as the primary mediator between God and the people. Their main responsibility was to perform the sacred rituals and sacrifices in the most holy place, ensuring that God's commandments were upheld. This role was incredibly important because it maintained the spiritual connection between the people and God. The High Priest also had the duty of entering the Holy of Holies once a year on the Day of Atonement, to offer sacrifices for the sins of the nation. This act symbolized the need for atonement and forgiveness, emphasizing the importance of purity and obedience in their relationship with God. Connecting this to the overall theme of our presentation, the High Priest symbolizes the need for a perfect mediator, someone who can bridge the gap between divine holiness and human imperfection. In many ways, this role points forward to the ultimate High Priest, who is Jesus Christ, who fulfills these duties perfectly and provides a lasting atonement for all. So, understanding the High Priest helps us see the deeper purpose behind these rituals and foreshadows the greater salvation that was to come. The High Priest in ancient Israel was a very important figure, holding a role that went beyond just religious duties. He was responsible for performing sacred rituals and ensuring the spiritual integrity of the entire community. Think of him as the chief mediator between God and the people, bridging the divine and human realms. His responsibilities included overseeing offerings, observing the important Day of Atonement, and most notably, entering the Holy of Holies, a space that symbolized access to divine wisdom and God's presence. His duties also involved instructing the priests and making sure everyone followed the law, which helped preserve the religious traditions that shaped the community. This role embodied spiritual leadership and kept the religious continuity alive, especially as reflected in Solomon's temple, a central place of worship and divine connection. The high priest served as a vital intermediary, embodying that connection between the divine and earthly realms. Through rituals and sacrifices, he interceded on behalf of the people, seeking God's forgiveness and guidance for the community. This wasn't just about performing ceremonies. It was about embodying the moral and religious values that unified the people, reinforcing their covenant with God and highlighting the sacredness of the temple. In particular, during Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the high priest's role was especially significant. He performed sacred ceremonies, including entering the Holy of Holies to offer sacrifices and incense. This act symbolized the atonement and purification of the entire nation, emphasizing the connection between divine authority and communal well-being. Overall, the high priest was not only a spiritual leader, but also a symbol of divine authority. His role reinforced the sacred bond between God and Israel, making sure that the community remained spiritually aligned and committed to their covenant. On this slide, we're exploring the parallels between the high priest in King Solomon's temple and the principles we see in Masonry. The high priest symbolizes divine leadership and guidance, serving as a spiritual mediator who oversees sacred rituals and maintains the temple's purity. This role highlights the importance of moral and ethical instruction, reminding us that true leadership involves wisdom, discernment, and a commitment to guiding others toward enlightenment. In Masonic thought, this figure underscores the idea that personal growth and moral development are essential. The high priest embodies spiritual authority, acting as a bridge between the divine and the earthly. He performs sacred duties that reflect the pursuit of inner wisdom and enlightenment, principles central to our journey as Masons. Furthermore, the high priest plays a vital role in initiation. He symbolizes divine authority and guides initiates through a process of spiritual rebirth and transformation. His example emphasizes moral integrity, faith, and leadership, core themes that resonate deeply within our teachings. Ultimately, the high priest represents the aspirational journey toward self-improvement, universal truths, and understanding. His symbolic role reminds us that leadership rooted in virtue and spiritual insight is fundamental to our personal and collective growth. Now, let's turn our attention to rituals and ceremonies. These are often the most visible expressions of a culture's values and beliefs. They serve as meaningful moments where community members come together to mark important life events, seasons, or spiritual practices. Rituals can be simple, like a family gathering, or complex, involving elaborate ceremonies that have been passed down through generations. What's fascinating is how these rituals help reinforce social bonds and cultural identity. They create a sense of continuity and stability, connecting individuals to their history and to each other. And of course, they often carry symbolic meanings, things that might not be immediately obvious but are deeply significant within that culture. When we consider the broader theme of cultural expression, rituals and ceremonies are central because they embody shared values and collective memory. They are more than just traditions. They are living expressions of a community's identity and resilience. Understanding these practices gives us a window into what a culture truly holds dear and how it preserves its legacy over time. Now, let's explore the significance of temple rituals, starting with daily sacrifices. These offerings, performed in the early morning and late afternoon, were more than just religious duties. They symbolized devotion and a deep connection with the divine. The act of offering animals or grains expressed gratitude and atonement, helping maintain spiritual purity and fostering community cohesion. When we look at this through a Masonic lens, these rituals highlight the importance of self-discipline, moral integrity, and a continuous pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. They remind us that true wisdom is gained through regular self-reflection and a steadfast commitment to our principles. Moving on to the festivals and feasts held in King Solomon's temple, these were more than celebratory gatherings. They represented renewal and unity within the community. These events were steeped in ritual and tied closely to agricultural cycles, symbolizing the recurring nature of life and the value of gratitude. In the context of Masonry, these celebrations emphasize the importance of harmony and moral reinforcement. They serve as a reminder that unity and shared purpose are vital to our ethical growth and to the deeper understanding of the teachings that the temple embodies. Finally, considering the spiritual significance of these rituals, we see that they symbolize the quest for higher consciousness and personal transformation. They act as a bridge connecting us to the divine, encouraging self-exploration and moral alignment. Through symbolic actions and teachings, participants internalize values like wisdom, strength, and beauty, core principles that guide us toward integrity and brotherhood. Ultimately, these rituals help us understand our place in the universe and the universal principles that govern our existence, reinforcing the ongoing journey toward enlightenment and moral growth. Now, let's explore the significance of Masonic ceremonies, starting with initiation rites. These rituals are more than just formalities. They represent a symbolic journey into enlightenment and personal growth. Think of them as a kind of rebirth, where the candidate sheds ignorance and emerges with new knowledge and virtue. The use of specific symbols, oaths, and sacred spaces ties back to the teachings of King Solomon's temple, emphasizing moral integrity, spiritual development, and the continuous pursuit of truth, core principles in Masonry. Moving on, these ceremonies often mirror a spiritual and moral evolution. They are designed as symbolic journeys, drawing on the story of King Solomon's temple as a foundational narrative. Through various degrees of initiation, Masons undertake a transformative path, much like building a sacred temple. This process symbolizes personal development, strengthening one's character, and seeking divine wisdom. Ultimately, it's about understanding our interconnectedness and striving for inner enlightenment. Finally, it's important to recognize how these ceremonies serve as vital rites that embody the fraternity's core principles. They facilitate personal transformation, promote moral growth, and foster a sense of community. When Masons participate in these rituals, they connect with a shared history and set of values that transcend time. These ceremonies reinforce lessons of wisdom, strength, and beauty, values inspired by King Solomon's temple that guide members in their lives. In essence, they deepen our understanding of Masonic symbolism and support our ongoing spiritual journey. Now, let's explore how modern interpretations of Solomon's temple have evolved over time. Today, many scholars and religious thinkers see the temple not just as a physical structure, but as a powerful symbol with multiple layers of meaning. Some view it as representing divine presence and spiritual aspiration, emphasizing the idea that the temple is a sacred space connecting heaven and earth. Others interpret it as a metaphor for inner spiritual development, reminding us that the true temple is within each of us. Interestingly, different faith traditions and cultures have their own views on what Solomon's temple signifies. For example, in some modern Jewish thought, the temple symbolizes hope for future rebuilding and renewal. In Christian theology, it often points to the idea of Jesus as the fulfillment of the temple's spiritual significance. And in contemporary architecture and art, we see the temple reflected in ideas of sacred space and spiritual architecture. What ties all these interpretations together is the recurring theme of seeking connection, whether with the divine, with our inner selves, or with community. These modern views help us understand that Solomon's temple isn't just a relic of the past. It's a living symbol that continues to inspire and challenge us today. It reminds us that spiritual aspirations are timeless, and the search for meaning is ongoing. Now, let's explore how the influence of Solomon's temple continues to shape contemporary Freemasonry. Over time, we've seen a fascinating evolution of symbolism. What was once an ancient structure has become a powerful metaphor for personal growth and moral integrity. Modern interpretations emphasize themes like wisdom, strength, and beauty, core values that resonate deeply within Masonic teachings. As Freemasons, we often look at the temple not just as a historical monument, but as a reflection of our own journey toward enlightenment. It's about building ourselves, striving for moral development and inner truth. The temple symbolizes our quest to improve and refine our character, blending age-old meanings with modern values of self-improvement and social responsibility. This connection to contemporary ideals highlights how Freemasonry remains relevant today. The temple's symbolism encourages us to pursue knowledge, foster community, and uphold ethical principles. It serves as a reminder that personal and collective virtue are intertwined, inspiring us to build ethical foundations in our lives and in our brotherhood. Furthermore, the integration of ancient wisdom into our modern practices is quite profound. The temple embodies principles like sacred geometry and balance, which remind us that knowledge, virtue, and community are essential components of growth. This holistic approach not only connects us to our historical roots, but also emphasizes our role in promoting universal truths and moral development in today's society. In essence, Solomon's Temple continues to inspire us. It's a symbol that bridges the past and the present, encouraging us to seek enlightenment, build character, and contribute positively to our communities. This ongoing influence keeps the timeless values of Freemasonry alive and relevant, guiding us toward a more enlightened and virtuous future. Now, let's explore how Solomon's Temple is represented in modern culture. When we look at literature, modern authors often highlight themes like wisdom, enlightenment, and the pursuit of knowledge. For example, works like T.S. Eliot's The Waste Land and Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum draw fascinating parallels between the temple's stunning architecture and the complexities of human understanding. These texts use the temple as a symbol of both spiritual and intellectual exploration, reflecting our ongoing fascination with the divine and the search for deeper meaning. Essentially, the temple becomes a metaphor for inner discovery and the process of building our moral and ethical frameworks. Moving into visual arts, artists tend to focus on its grandeur and symbolic power. They often reimagine the temple as a universal symbol of wisdom, enlightenment, and divine connection. You'll see its intricate designs and motifs reflected in contemporary paintings, sculptures, and even digital art. These creations emphasize themes like unity and spiritual exploration, showing how the temple continues to inspire and influence artistic expression. It's a way of connecting our past traditions with modern ideas about knowledge and moral virtue, keeping its relevance alive. When we consider modern interpretations more broadly, the temple often embodies ideals such as enlightenment, moral integrity, and the ongoing quest for knowledge. In popular culture, through movies, books, and other media, the temple often symbolizes the journey towards spiritual and intellectual growth. It also stands for unity and shared values, both in esoteric traditions and mainstream culture, representing the idea of building an ideal society. Because of this, Solomon's Temple continues to inspire thinkers and artists today, maintaining its importance as a powerful symbol in our cultural conversations. And so, as we wrap up, I want to highlight the key points we've discussed today. First, we've seen how crucial it is to understand the core concepts and how they interconnect within the bigger picture. It's not just about isolated ideas, but about seeing the pattern and how everything fits together. We've also emphasized the importance of applying what we've learned in real-world scenarios, because that's where true understanding happens. Remember, the overarching theme has been about continuous growth and adaptation, and how staying curious and open-minded keeps us moving forward. Ultimately, these insights serve as a foundation for future success, and I encourage you to keep exploring and questioning. Thanks for your attention, and I look forward to seeing how you take these ideas forward. Now, let's take a moment to review the key points we've discussed about the Temple of Solomon and its significance in Freemasonry. First, the temple is much more than just a historical structure. It's a powerful symbol that represents the pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. It embodies core Masonic ideals such as order, morality, and spirituality, serving as a blueprint for personal growth and the ongoing quest for truth. Its intricate design reflects a harmony between the physical and metaphysical realms, reminding us of the importance of self-improvement and community service. Ultimately, the temple inspires us to build our own temples of virtue and understanding, fostering a deeper connection to the divine. Moving on to its importance in our practices, the symbolism of King Solomon's temple holds profound meaning. It acts as a fundamental symbol guiding our moral values, spiritual enlightenment, and pursuit of knowledge. It emphasizes concepts like unity, structure, and the relentless search for truth, principles that shape our ethical and philosophical work. The intricate symbolism within the temple underscores the importance of community, personal growth, and maintaining a divine connection to a higher purpose. That's why the temple is not just a symbol, but a cornerstone of our rituals and teachings. Lastly, the legacy of Solomon's temple extends far beyond its physical form. It stands as a symbol of wisdom, strength, and our divine connection. As a central motif in Freemasonry, it embodies the ongoing quest for knowledge and moral integrity. Its blueprints, metaphorically speaking, represent the architecture of faith and enlightenment, helping to foster unity among those seeking truth. Its influence reaches across cultures and eras, highlighting a universal desire for spiritual elevation. In this way, Solomon's temple remains a timeless symbol, central not only to religious thought, but also to philosophical exploration, reminding us of our continual journey toward understanding and virtue. As we look to the future, it's clear that the symbolism of King Solomon's temple remains deeply relevant in modern Masonic practices. It continues to reinforce essential themes like unity, moral integrity, and spiritual enlightenment, values that are central to our journey. This symbolism acts as a foundational element, guiding us in personal development and encouraging us to engage more meaningfully with our communities. The intricate architecture and deep symbolism of the temple not only connect us to our historical roots, but also inspire ongoing conversations about the pursuit of knowledge and ethical living. Its enduring relevance reminds us of the importance of reflecting on wisdom, strength, and beauty, especially as our world evolves rapidly around us. Moving forward, the continued study and exploration of King Solomon's temple are vital. By delving deeper into its architectural details, spiritual meanings, and historical context, we can strengthen our understanding of its moral teachings. I encourage all of us, scholars and practitioners alike, to keep exploring these symbols. Future research might even reveal new insights and applications that keep the symbolism fresh and meaningful in today's society. Collaboration and dialogue, both within our Masonic circles and beyond, will only enrich this exploration, helping us appreciate the full legacy of the temple in a holistic way. Finally, the influence of King Solomon's temple extends far beyond the past. It serves as a timeless symbol of wisdom, morality, and spiritual growth, values that continue to inspire future generations. Its grandeur and symbolism motivate us to uphold integrity and brotherhood. As societies search for purpose and connection, the lessons embedded in the temple's symbolism will continue to resonate. They encourage us to pursue personal growth and foster harmony within our communities. This legacy is resilient. It honors tradition while also adapting to contemporary challenges, ensuring that the teachings of King Solomon's temple remain relevant for those seeking knowledge, truth, and enlightenment well into the future. Thank you all for being here today as we wrap up this journey. I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for everyone's support and collaboration throughout this project. Without your contributions, this wouldn't have been possible. The Masonic Audiobook Library is a reflection of our collective effort and shared passion for knowledge and community. Today's date, June 10th, 2025, marks a milestone not just for the library, but for all of us who believe in the power of learning and connection. I truly appreciate each of you for your dedication and enthusiasm in making this vision a reality. As we look ahead, I hope this library continues to inspire and serve as a resource for many generations to come. So, thank you once again for your support, your trust, and your collaboration. It's been a privilege to share this journey with you all.